the best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. For a second there, I thought we were not going to be on the air again this week because of UL baseball. Sadly, they lost. Long 11 innings. What? I was not exactly sure how many innings baseball had. It's been a very long time since I played softball, and I don't particularly follow sports all that much, but 11 innings. And they told me that the game had been going on since 1 o'clock today. That is crazy. Those guys must be super tired. Another cold and rainy one out there. This is definitely gumbo weather. I've been craving soup all weekend and getting it here and there and everywhere. Also, Girl Scout cookie time, or as I like to call it, Girl Scout crack. And you can never say no to them because they're basically out of every grocery store and they're cute little faces. And come on, let's all admit that Thin Mint is the far superior Girl Scout cookie. And who can turn down a Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie? No one. I feel like I'm rationing them right now. I've got about 4 boxes at my house. I think my mom has turned me into an addict. Every time I've been visiting her, she can't turn them down either. And she's been buying them. In fact, one day she went to 2 grocery stores and in the same day, and they hit her up both times. And she's like, I can't tell them no. I can't tell them no. So she's been passing the cookies on to me. And then I got hit up last night and I got the Samoas, which is the second best besides the Thin Mint. I used to really love the peanut butter cookies too, but they changed their recipe in recent years. And I'm not digging the fake taste of the chocolate or the kind of peanut butter they're using, but Thin Mints for the win. Joining tonight on today's show, we have Kristina and Maddie with I'm going to butcher it. I did it. Say it correctly.
Karmacaroons.
Karmacaroons. I was practicing it in my head before we went on air, and I'm notorious for that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to screw it up. And you guys got great news. 5 seconds before we went on air, you guys are in 337 magazine.
Yes, we had no idea. Moments before going on the air, actually, our new business manager texted us a screenshot of it, and we were just so surprised and really excited. So our name
really cool.
is spelled wrong, but it's actually really common for people to mispronounce and misspell our name.
It.
So there's no hard feelings at all.
I'm probably going to do it 8 more times on tonight's show. So I'm just sorry. I'm preparing you for it, and I'm trying my best to say it correctly. But they're joining us tonight to talk about macaroons, which I probably also just butchered, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, the difference between a French macaroon and a regular macaroon. And we're going to be talking vegan cooking, vegan baking, which is what makes their macaroons so special. Speaking of vegan cookies, the Thin Mint is supposedly a vegan cookie. That's what the rumor is. What do you guys know about that?
I had some the other day, and I can verify that they actually are vegan, and I am utterly addicted. But yeah, all you vegans out there, definitely go check out those Thin Mints. Absolutely no dairy products. So that's something to be excited about.
I feel like there's another one, too, that...
I think they have one sometimes. I think they have a gluten-free one.
Maybe it's a gluten-free one that I'm thinking about.
I don't know the name of it. I'm out of the Girl Scout cookie loop. But I have heard rumors about it.
God, tell me it's that Samoa one.
I don't think so.
That's my weakness. I can't touch it, but...
Yeah, it's the Thin Mints and the Samoas, man. Like, they're so good. And it's $4 for a box. And I was talking about last night. I was like, oh, they're $3. My mom was like, no, they're $4. I was like, what?
That was the good old
days.
They
went up on the price. They used to be $3 forever. Inflation has hit the Girl Scout cookies as well as everyone else. If you've been listening to the show, you've been following along on my gluten-free cooking adventures, and I've been baking a lot with chickpea flour. A few weeks ago, I dabbled in chickpea flour cheddar biscuits, which I also found out that baking powder has cornstarch in it. So that kind of ruled that out for the kid with the gluten and the corn allergy. So I had to try to research and use a different thing, and I used baking soda and sour cream as the additive to it. But I think I used too much sour cream. And when I tasted the biscuits raw, they tasted disgusting. It was so bad. And I wasn't sure if it was the amount of sour cream or if it was the chickpea flour or what. But I think that the amount of cheddar cheese that I put in these biscuits kind of saved the day. And once they were baked, so good. I wish I had tomato soup to go with them because I felt like they would have been really great with the tomato soup. They were kind of reminiscent of there is a seafood place that does like the cheddar biscuits. Red Lobster is the name of it. And somebody mentioned that on my Instagram, that they look like the biscuits that they serve there. And as long as you ate them hot, they were good. If they got room temperature, they kind of turned into hockey pucks. And you didn't want to eat them after that. So it was kind of a win and a loss. This week I made chickpea flour chocolate chip banana bread and knocked it out of the park. I'm so excited about how well they turned out. They made my apartment smell amazing. Cinnamon, vanilla, just deliciousness. And I'm kind of new to baking with chickpea flour, and it's one of those flours that, I mean, gluten-free stuff in general is kind of having a moment, but chickpea flour is one of those things. What is so special about chickpea flour? Like, what do you guys like about it or know about it?
Well, we actually don't do much with chickpea flour. We actually use the other end of the chickpeas.
Yeah, the juice, and we'll talk about that a little later in the show. Yeah.
I've never cooked with chickpea flour, but we do sometimes make cake pops with the chickpeas themselves.
Oh, okay.
For a gluten-free, sugar-free option. And they're really good. But I've never baked with chickpea flour.
Personally, I haven't either.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot you can do with chickpeas, though, and I can tell you that a tip and a trick to cooking with chickpeas or making anything out of chickpeas is peeling those skins off. That's how you get that perfect consistency. Yeah. It works beautifully in baking, even making them into those amazing little crunchy chickpea like snacks that you can bake in your oven at home. We have been experimenting with using the actual chickpeas in so many different ways. Although we have not made a flour out of it, maybe that's the next step for us.
Yeah, maybe.
See, when I first was researching the chickpea flour, I was thinking in my head that I was going to use it more as a savory thing for like pizza dough. I found like this crepe, like the savory crepe recipe to use it. So the banana bread today was kind of just a tester, and it turned out really well. And you could easily turn it into a paleo recipe. I used butter, but you could use coconut oil or ghee. You could use that. And then I used coconut sugar, so I kind of lowered the glycemic index on that. And I felt like it was a little, because I used the chocolate chips, it was a little too sweet for me. So maybe next time I'm going to kind of go down on the amount of sugar that I used in it, because when I was researching coconut sugar, it was kind of saying that you can do that because of the sweetness of it. But it turned out really well. I was super excited. The color of it was really pretty. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a picture of it over there. But banana bread is just so yummy. It was a perfect way to spend like a rainy Sunday afternoon making that too. I'm going to serve it up for breakfast during the week with almond butter on it too. I'm planning other things that I'm going to be doing with it. All right, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Kristina and Maddie. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
From Boudin to the best burgers Acadiana has to offer, it's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and Kristina and Maddie with Karmacaroons. A little better, getting there. Maybe by the end of the show, I'll say it correctly, are joining us tonight as guest co-hosts. If you're not familiar with what a macaroon is, you are about to discover it. It went from not being able to find it anywhere in Lafayette to kind of popping up here and there. And I have to tell you that these ladies are making probably the best that I've ever tasted. There's a place, I will tell the story a little later, but the first place I ever had them was in Lafayette years ago. They were super tiny. Wasn't that great. It was a lemon flavored one, which I guess maybe wasn't the best flavor to be introduced to them to. And last year, actually, I went to Dallas and there was a place called Joy Macaroons. And the thing I love about macaroons is that they're so aesthetically pretty. They're so beautiful. They came in this sliding box and it just looked like a rainbow when you opened it up. It was just so beautiful, and that's part of the reason that I like them so much. Also, you kind of feel like you're Marie Antoinette a little bit eating the macaroons because, again, they're so pretty, they're dainty, they're very feminine, and came back to Lafayette, and then you guys popped up, and I was like, oh my God, I get to try it here. So how did you guys get into this, and how did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
Well, this business kind of fell into us. You know, the first time we ever hung out, we decided to try to make vegan French macaroons. And it was such a failure that it kept propelling us. We were like, okay, let's try this again on Wednesday. And then it just turned into a regular, habitual, okay, on Monday we're going to try again. And we just would continue tweaking our recipe. And then by the time that we actually got it, 4 months down the road, you know, we posted pictures on social media and people just wanted to buy them and they wanted to try them. So we just kind of started making them for people and it just kind of sort of caught on.
Our whole meeting was very serendipitous, too, as well. We had met working at a store together, and what initially started us talking off as friends was just the fact that, you know, I'm from California, Kristina's from New Jersey, but we had both come from the same town in California, and we were like some of the only vegans and vegetarians that were working in that vicinity. And so it was just like this push forward to like, hey, maybe you should hang out together. And we both found this interest in macaroons. We love them. We've always been macaroon fanatics. And then just Kristina's so driven and we got along so well. When we started baking, it just turned into like this perfect endeavor that we just couldn't really give up on. And we knew it would be difficult. We wasted hundreds of dollars in products trying to make these macaroons.
And they're not easy to make, from what I hear. Like they're pretty tedious and a lot goes into making them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, macaroons in general are really hard to make. And
especially making them here in Louisiana in the South.
Because the humidity with
Yes.
it. Yes, okay.
The moisture control is just ridiculous. Like one thing is off on days when it rains sometimes our bakes don't turn out and it's ridiculous. We have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of notes on how to get that perfect bait, whether it's making sure all the doors are closed, making sure what the weather is like outside. It is ridiculous.
What's the weather going to be like tomorrow? Because that'll affect it too.
Absolutely. It's extremely fickle and it's so funny, but we just pushed through it. And, you know, every time we just got a little better and a little better and a little better. And I'd like to believe that we're still coming out with macaroons that are just a little bit better every time. And I think that's what's so fun about being a specialty bakery like we do is we really get to focus on these. And every time we come out with a bake, we're just so excited with it because there's just so much effort and love that's put into them.
Where did you first start selling them? Was it at Sick Bay shows or was it at Rev Coffee?
Well, our first ever event that we did was Sick Bay. And then not but a few weeks later, we started selling them at Rev.
Okay. So if you're listening and not familiar with what Sick Bay is, kind of explain that a little bit because it's cool.
So Sick Bay is this really awesome, it's a house, it's a person, it's a community. They do parties and shows, and Ryan is now doing like little EPs with different bands.
Yeah, but they host vendors, and
Yeah.
I think that's what's so beautiful
So
about
it's
it.
music, and then people come and sell things. I know there are a lot
it's like
of
a
food
little
vendors
mini
that go with
house
it.
festival that happens like once or twice a year, and it's super cool. And we got an awesome opportunity from our good friends who also own a business, Magnolia Moon. They got us into Sick Bay. And that was the first time that other people other than our friends on Facebook and Instagram.
I feel like that's the first time that I saw your name was associated with seeing flyers for the Sick Bay event, which I've been wanting to go for the vendors, not really so much for the music. But we've talked about on the show before how closely similar the music industry and the food industry is here in Acadiana. And I know I grew up in the 90s and the music scene was pretty big there. And Ryan's kind of developing that again with the Sick Bay, and what he's doing there was kind of what was happening in the 90s. And a lot of the musicians that were in bands in the 90s are now doing food things now in 2017. So I think that's cool, that progression from music to food, and it shows how similar they are. And then again with the Sick Bay, it's here's this music, but we're going to bring in these cool vendors that you may not have heard of that are serving teas or macaroons, or Scratch Kitchen does stuff there too. And I love the idea of that.
Yeah, that's what I love the most. He like takes these underground vendors or musicians and just sort of pushes them forward, and it's beautiful. It's a great crowd. If you've never gone to a Sick Bay, go. They're tons of fun. But yeah, that's really where we got our start, and it really pushed us out there.
And then so Rev Coffee Roasters picked you guys up.
So then we started selling them at Rev, and we started with just like 1 or 2 flavors, but now we try to have 3 flavors there. We even partner with Carter, and we use his bean to bar chocolate.
Preservation chocolate.
Yeah, preservation chocolate.
Yeah, he makes this amazing 3-ingredient bean to bar dark chocolate. It's a 85% dark chocolate, so totally vegan on its own. And that's actually what you're going to find in our ganache macaroons every time. It is absolutely delectable. It is amazing.
His chocolate has ruined me for all other chocolates. Like it's so good. And whenever I get my hands on it, and then you'll taste other chocolate and you're like, this is just not the same. This chocolate is so good. He's doing great stuff
He has
there.
just a great taste for it. It's very deep and just has a great flavor contrast in there.
Did you try the one? It was a chocolate with caramel infused with Magnolia Moon tea.
No, I did
He did
not.
it for Valentine's
gosh,
Day.
yeah.
It was so good.
I missed it.
So good.
Man.
Maybe he'll do it again
Maybe
soon.
so. Maybe we'll ask him. I've been trying to get him to come on the radio show too. It'll happen. We're going to get him. So from Rev Coffee, you guys are now at the Horse Farm Farmers Market every Saturday.
Yes, we do the Horse Farm. We do Cash and Carry in Lake Charles.
We also do Youngsville as well.
We do the Youngsville Farmers Market. That's once a month. Either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after that, we're going to start doing the French Market.
Yeah, because I was about to say, you guys go to New Orleans a lot.
We do the Magazine Street Art Market in New Orleans.
We're there at least once a week. We've been doing the Magazine Street Market, but the French Market is going to be brand new to us. We're going to be out there in the next week or so, and we're absolutely excited about that.
Also, we sell at Yobi Frozen Yogurt, the location here in River Ranch. They're opening a new one in Youngsville. It's going to have a drive-through, and we're going to be doing our macaron ice cream sandwiches on the drive-through, which is going to be really exciting. And they have 2 flagship stores in Jacksonville, and we just started sending out our orders for those stores too.
And Sandra's Health Food here,
yeah, you
as
can
well.
buy our 10 packs in Sandra's. So. If
and
you want to like bring them to a party.
And you can also get them on the website as well, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Karmacaroons.com. It has a list of all the flavors. We do catering orders. And yeah, you can customize. We do these extra large specialty deco macaroons. If you ever come to any of our booths at, festivals and stuff for
the Horse Farm. We are super in love with making like the newest and funnest shapes and designs. So catering has been really fun for us. Like, we've just been so driven to do things like under the sea themes. We can make your macaroon seashells. We've got all the tweaks. It's just been such a great time coming up with all these different things.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Kristina and Maddie. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now, we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and Kristina and Maddie with Karmacaroons. I did it! You did great! Are joining us tonight as guest co-hosts. I want to mention really quickly, this is kind of exciting. We have a new Indian grocery store that just opened. It's called Desi Spice Bazaar, and it's at the corner of Johnson and Camellia Boulevard. It's in the same building that the Liberty Tax services are, and I remember it used to be an antique store when I was little, and you had to like put your hands in your pockets, like they didn't like children in there. I just remember being terrified that I was going to break something when I went in there with my mom. But anyway, now it's an Indian grocery store, and it boasts to be the largest in the area. They're supposed to have a very large selection of spices, naan, and ice cream. Is what it's saying. I drove by today to see if it was open, and I think they're kind of still working on it. So I may try again during the week because I kind of want to get some chai. Like, I feel like they're going to have a good selection of chai tea and naan too. So, and I want to see this ice cream collection that they're boasting to have. I'm curious to see what that's all about. But that's kind of some exciting news that's happening. Maybe you guys can check them out and see what spices they have.
Oh, you're making me want to make a chai macaroon.
Yeah, incorporate it into the macaroons. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between a macaroon and a French macaroon.
Well, there is a little bit of a spelling difference there, y'all, for those who know. A macaroon is known as a little rolled up coconut ball, usually made with like dairy and eggs and things to stick it together or dipped in chocolate. You can find them a lot around town, and they're delicious and great. But the French macaroons or Italian macaroons, because there are a difference, are these delectable little meringue-based cookies. They are sandwiched together. You got two shells, and we make them with like buttercreams or jams or ganaches. But they are these little aesthetically pleasing cookies. So there is a big difference there, and they are traditionally spelled with only one O. I guess the difference between like a French and Italian macaroon, I guess, is the way the sugar is incorporated into it.
Italian macaroon is custard sugar.
But they do look the same. Like, I believe like places like Sucre have Italian macaroons, and what we make are French macaroons. There's not too much of a difference, although I have noticed a little bit of like a texture difference. Like some macaroons tend to be drier, flakier, crunchier, kind of fall apart, and ours stick together very well. They just got that great bite to them.
The first one that I tasted was very chewy. And I think that that's also why I wasn't a big fan of them. And then the ones that I had in Dallas, you kind of just bit into and melted, and y'all are like that too. And then also what recently took storm is the ice cream sandwiches, the macaroon ice cream sandwiches. And you guys do that as well.
We are addicted.
Yeah.
Yes, we love them. And I feel like they are a necessity in this Louisiana heat because it is February, and it was literally 90 degrees on Wednesday. I can vouch for that. So we are ready with the ice cream sandwiches. We've been coming out to almost every single one of our markets with them. And we are actually going to be featuring a Thai fried ice roll in between our macaroon shells. Now, it's actually going to be made with a vegan ice cream, but it's basically a frozen ice cream that's made right in front of you, rolled into these beautiful little spirals, and then we're going to be sandwiching those between our macaroon shells with your choice of toppings. Of course, always vegan and gluten-free.
Very nice.
Super excited.
Yeah, very excited.
I also love too that in between the commercial breaks, they've been reading their article that they didn't know about, and I love it. I'm so excited for you guys. Like your expression when you found out was the best.
We are huge cheese balls.
Okay. So speaking of vegan baking tips, we were going to talk about a little to give the listeners at home some tips if they wanted to try to cook vegan. And I know one thing that is kind of having a moment is you're going to have to say the correct name because I just aquafaba, which is basically the chickpea
brine.
Yeah, but you can actually use the brine of a lot of legumes.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Beans,
okay.
You can use even green peas you can use.
We've almost considered using
beans.
red beans, the brine, for that natural red color in there to add to its hint. It's not something we've done yet. We've experimented with using things like Maldive spinach from the Urban Naturalist and stuff for our colors, but it's limitless. You can use so much.
And it's used as an egg substitute.
Yes. So it bakes a little bit differently. It's not gonna. You can't like make an omelet out of it,
right?
Yeah. But
it's good
you
for
can
baking.
replace it in muffins, or you can make a meringue, obviously, with it.
But we've made a million things with aquafaba, y'all. Like we used to make marshmallows. You can make cheese, even ice cream. All sorts of things. Basically, that aquafaba is that magical ingredient that most vegans look for that really gives your baked goods or vegan items that creamy or fluffy texture that you don't really find a lot in vegan baking. And I know the vegan world is just like exploding with all sorts of different uses for nuts. But if y'all haven't tried this stuff before, it's awesome.
I have a friend on Facebook who is struggling with an egg allergy. Like she's kind of trying to test to see if she's allergic to eggs. And she mentioned it the other day, how it was amazing that she had never thought to use this before. And it was a really good egg substitute in baking. And so it made me think of that. And I've been reading about it in all the culinary magazines because they're kind of using it. How long can you keep that for? Like, so you open a can of beans, like you pour the brine out. How long?
No longer than a week.
Okay.
We're very picky about keeping products for too long. Like with our online store, we've only started offering just one box just because we're always coming out with new flavors. But the aquafaba, it lasts for, they say, a week, but we always use it.
We never really even keep it that long.
Okay.
Like, we always use it.
Well, I was thinking if somebody was at home using it, maybe.
It also depends.
Smell test.
Sometimes you have to process it in certain ways.
Okay.
So I guess depending on the process, it could last a little bit longer.
I'm wondering what's the ratio? Like, how much would you use to substitute an egg? Do you know that?
I think it's like 3 tablespoons for 1 egg.
Oh, that's not a lot. Okay.
Yeah, and 1 can gets you like
two-thirds cup.
2/3 of a cup.
Yeah, because the key to the aquafaba there is you're gonna reduce it to get that thicker texture, and that's what makes it eggy.
Nice. Okay, so next time you have your chickpeas or any other bean, save that brine and you can use it as an egg substitute in your baking. Do you guys have any other vegan baking tips for anyone out there that might be maybe for sweeteners?
Coconut cream.
Coconut cream for in place of heavy cream. That's what we make our ganaches with, and it is
coconut oil too. Honestly, God, I know coconut oil, coconut everything has been exploding lately, but it is awesome. I don't do a lot of baking outside of macaroons anymore, but I used to make a lot of vegan pies using coconut oil as kind of a sweetener. It has that very subtle sweet taste. It works beautifully also as like an additive instead of eggs or dairy to hold your ingredients together.
We make a really good date caramel too.
Yeah, we just came out with the salted caramel. It's one of our newest flavors because we wanted to make sure it was perfect. There are a lot of funky vegan caramels out there, but
we've been through a lot of them too, but this one's definitely the best one.
Yes, the date caramel, it does not taste like dates, y'all. It is amazing. Dates are like a magical vegan ingredient. If you've never eaten dates or picky about them, I really encourage you to give them a try because once you incorporate them into your baking, they're just absolutely wonderful.
I kind of fell in love with dates when I started Whole30 because you can't have any added sugar. And they cautioned against eating just straight up dates because they do have a lot of sugar in it. And if you're trying to get away from sugar, that's still a lot of sugar. But a lot of the protein bars that I would eat have dates in it. I'm a big fan of the RX bars right now, and they have like nuts and dates in it. And so I had a newfound appreciation for them because before I've only had them in a savory sense. Like I've had them with the cheese, like Pamplona's has them with the cheese and they're wrapped in bacon. But yeah, so good.
We had a Friendsgiving and we made Kristina, she made the best. Oh my gosh.
It was dates, and then I made a pistachio
vegan
kind of cheese. I like boiled the pistachios and put it in a food processor until it was really smooth, and then I drizzled it with truffle oil and like a
amazing hors d'oeuvres for your next dinner party.
It was so good.
I dream about those.
Loved them. Even the non-vegans loved them.
Mm-hmm. What has been your most popular flavors?
Oh, lavender.
Really? Lavender and cake batter.
Really?
And pistachio. Those are the top three.
Yeah.
Pistachio is pretty common. Like I feel like that's one of the original ones is pistachio, and lavender too.
Lavender was the first flavor we ever made, and if we ever go to a market without it, at least one person
is going to
ask us if we have lavender.
It happens every time.
And yeah, we if we just boycott it for a second, we can't get away from it because people want it so much. So
why do you think macaroons have become so popular all of a sudden?
People love cute food. People love cute food, and like we put a lot of effort into our macaroons, and I think you can tell. We have always hand painted and hand decorated our macaroons. Like we put a lot of effort into them. So when you get that cookie, it's not just something you want to shove in your mouth in 3 seconds. You want to take those little bites and savor it because there's a lot of love in there.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Kristina and Maddie. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
She puts the wow, yum into words. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie herself on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and we've been talking with Kristina and Maddie with Karmacaroons. I didn't do it right this correct, but I got it one time. We've been talking macaroons on tonight's show, and you guys want to thank some people that have helped y'all along the way. Give them a little bit of a shout out.
Tons of people.
So many people.
I mean, first off, we already said Magnolia Moon, the tea girls. They're lovely.
I want to try their tea
They're
bad.
So good, and they forage their herbs, and they take so much time and care. And you can actually buy their bottled teas at Bread and Circus now.
Oh, okay.
And they do a few markets here and there, and I know they're working on getting into more markets and more stores. But I mean, Nate at Rev Coffee Roasters,
Carter, Lyles,
yeah,
both of them, and then I mean, Ryan's wife from Sick Bay. I mean, Dalma getting us into Sick Bay. Kayla Zeke getting us into the art walks.
And telling us about the Magazine Street Art Market.
Yes.
And Abby with Cajun King Kettle Corn. Like so much support and love has made it be
Hannah
possible.
Thibodeau. Just like the love is endless. Honestly, that's what's so beautiful about Lafayette.
Sky's the limit bakery.
Oh yeah. They just take you forward, and they've really pushed us out there.
Kayla Torrey with Yobi.
Mm-hmm.
So many people.
I feel like millennials a lot of times get a bad rap, but I find that there's so many out there that are entrepreneurs and are kind of doing their own thing, and especially in the culinary world, kind of going back to the roots of how things used to be, and kind of just getting their hands dirty and in there, and creating these great things. I'm a millennial, although I don't really consider myself one, but I'm on like the high cusp of the millennials. I always considered myself a Gen Xer, but apparently I am technically a millennial. What do you guys think about that? I mean, what made you want to get out there and do your own business and create something yourself?
Oh man,
I always
standards.
knew
I think
I was going to be an entrepreneur, and I I just always had that drive. It was finding the right thing and the right person to do it with.
This is why our partnership works out so well, because Kristina is like constantly networking. She's got the drive, and then I'm here, and like we're always just tweaking each other out, and like I have my own passions. Like what really pushed me and personally into selling our macaroons alongside Kristina is the fact that like I'm just really passionate about offering a product that's wholesome. We use organic ingredients, local ingredients, and I'm trying to really offer a product that anyone can eat. You know, we make vegan macaroons, but they are not just for vegans. They're not just for people who can't eat gluten. Like, we really want to push the front that eating plant-based doesn't have to be something that's looked at as bad or different or something that can't be delicious.
I think that's why I love millennials as entrepreneurs, because we have this air about us, and, you know, it can get a bad rep sometimes.
We all believed we could be superstars, and so now we're out here just trying to make it.
And now we can be. You know, millennials have really great forward-thinking ideas, and a lot of them, you know, have the drive to make it happen. And I can't wait to see what it looks like in 10 years when all of us, you know, have thought of our crazy ideas of a business and made it happen.
One of your biggest fans is your son. You just told us a cute story during the break. You want to tell us that story again?
My son, Cannon, he's 2.5. He loves our macaroons so much. When I bring him to the farmers markets, he'll be sneaking cookies out of the case. And
y'all, he is the biggest macaroon snob. I can vouch for that personally. I can't wait to see what he is like later on in life, and just like what developed his tastes are. Like at 2 years old, he's asking for macaroons constantly. Like, no, the other cookies, your cookies, like
mommy's cookies. No.
And I feel like macaroons. You know, some people, you either love them or you're just like, meh, you don't care about them too much. But to have such a developed taste at such a young age and just like really appreciate what we do he's sort of a driving factor.
Foodie, and it's all our fault. He'll be like, Mommy, Papa, sushi for dinner tonight. Nice. And then we'll be like, no, we were just going to have something different. No, sushi, please. Red tea.
Kristina's just got that. You've got that, you know, you've got real good taste. I can tell you that. You turned me on to some weird stuff that I never thought I'd like. Like, hey, y'all, honey, salt, and truffle oil on your avocados. I'm just saying. Like, I cannot get enough of that. Like, you got weird taste, but it is so good. And honestly, that's what I love about you as a business partner. We're always coming up with those funky flavors. Like, we just made our new strawberry hibiscus and blackberry macaroon. Like, we're always trying to do fun stuff. We are going to be doing like Herb Fest coming up in the next couple months, coming out with things like lemon,
strawberry,
rosemary,
basil, lemon, rosemary,
tons of stuff. And it's really fun working with someone who has a sophisticated flavor palette, and so it's fun for us.
All right, so we're going to end the show on a hot button debate that happened on Eater this week. It was an editorial piece. Cheesecake is not cake was the title of it. And then it said, the real question is it a pie or a tart? So we're going to kind of debate that a little bit.
So I think I vote it's not a cake. And I think it really depends. If it depends if it has fruit on it, what size is it?
This is what gets me. Earlier, we were discussing this, and we were like, okay, so what makes a cake a cake? And we're like, layers maybe? And you know what? Like, just because I got to play the other side of the field, that cheesecake, it technically got 2 layers, all right?
Yeah,
so
it has a
crust
on it
layer,
too much cheese, and possibly 3 if it has like a topping on it.
Oh yeah,
But I mean,
pour
does
some
your
ganache
birthday
over that.
cake have a crust though? Like,
Do you consider frosting a crust?
Yeah.
It's all perspective, Kristina.
that is a good point, a very good point. But like, I guess it just depends, because, you know, if it's like a personal cheesecake, the crust kind of comes up a little bit and it has like some preserved fruit on it, what makes that not a tart? You know, I mean, if it's just like a little bit.
Girl, I worked in a
texture of
bakery
custard.
pretty much my whole working life. So, I mean, it's got to have that tart shell to be a tart, you know? And like, I mean,
But I mean, what makes a tart shell a tart shell? Is it like the little ripple? Is it like a different ingredient?
I feel like it's the separation, you know?
Okay, so it's not like baked into one.
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
I could see it. So it is a pie then. I mean, no matter what, it's not a
It's
cake.
a pie. I feel like it's a pie. Or we were talking about a custard earlier. Like
Creme brulee, but just
yeah,
the
it's like a custard, kind of a custardy thing. I don't know. It's just good. Like that's all that I can say about cheesecake is that it's delicious.
All I can say is I'm not going to fight it because I freaking love cheesecake. So it can be whatever it wants as long as it's around me.
So Maddie, you said you're from California, and then Kristina, you're from New Jersey.
Yes.
What was it like being from such large metropolitan areas and then coming to Lafayette?
Oh man, definite culture shock. But Lafayette is beautiful, y'all. And I get asked this question a lot is, like, why would you leave such a highly trafficked area? Like, there's always stuff going on in California for such a smaller town. But Lafayette just has this great feel to it. The people here are lovely. I love y'all. So friendly. Keep on doing that. Like, it warms my heart because you go to those bigger places and people tend to just like stay in their own lane. But I love that really wherever you can go, you can make a friend. People are always looking out for you, like the people that pushed us into vending. It's rare to come by that sort of love from other people.
There's this thing about Lafayette that I have, from the first time I ever came here, I haven't been able to stay away for too long. And many of the times it hasn't really been by my choice. And it took a while for me to really find my true love for Lafayette. But when I did find it, I realized, when I first moved here, I couldn't even believe that this was a city because, New Jersey, the whole state looks like this, It's like, but like, there's no skyscrapers.
Yeah,
where's
right.
the city? But
So
now
flat.
I understand. It's kind of, it's like looking into something that you don't really know.
You really get that Southern hospitality, and it really comes through, especially to me. I mean, at least to me, that's really
Lafayette
what
has
kept
been
me here.
so good to us.
Yes.
So good to us. So good to my family, to my business.
I like to think that Lafayette has a little magic to it because
does.
honestly, like everything just sort of falls in line down here. There's a great vibe in the area, and I think that's probably why I was voted like #1 happiest city in America.
Right, yeah.
Right? Which I thought was pretty awesome. So I mean, I guess that's just what kept me here. Happiness is hard to come by, but if you can feel it in the people around you and the town around you, then there ain't no reason to leave.
True that.
I feel like people either that are not from here either get it or they don't. And because there's some people that come from outside and they don't like it and they're miserable and they complain and they just hate everything about Lafayette to the point where it's like, why are you still here if you hate it so much? But mostly I hear from people that have come from other places, especially like big metropolitan areas, that they love it here, that it's something about Lafayette that just keeps them here and loves it here. And then just the amount, it's so food centric here too. I don't know how that was, in California and New Jersey, where so many people about food in those areas.
It's like hard to say.
much.
It's like
I think
pizza and bagels and any variation of those, as long as they're really good, people really like. Like I see those food videos that are like viral on Facebook and my friends from home, and it's always a giant bagel, a rainbow bagel, a Cheeto bagel, a certain kind of pizza, a calzone, and I'm like, guys, like a big mozzarella stick, like they do like food, but it's a certain kind of food,
Yeah. And I mean, California has a lot going on, but I find that there's always new stuff popping up. Down here, like, I mean, you go to places like Dwyer's or something, or these local places, and you know what you're getting, and it's like this home cooked meal that's just like amazing because they use this recipe that's been around and has like so much love put into it. But yeah.
What do y'all miss most about home?
Elevation. Elevation.
Honestly,
It is a little fun.
Oh yeah.
Bagels.
Tallest hill is like in Thomas
We
Park.
do not have bagels here.
and the autumn,
Yeah.
Trees.
Seasons.
Yeah.
Lack of humidity,
Actually,
maybe?
I don't really miss all the seasons. I really just miss like the first few weeks of autumn, like the last week of summer when the trees are so beautiful and you just drive around the reservoir and it's just like a rainbow of
Ooh,
trees
yo.
and the wind blows and there's leaves.
I can say water. Like,
Yeah.
So keep these oceans clean, you guys, because they could be so beautiful.
Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. It was enjoyable, and I cannot wait to get into these macaroons that you guys gifted me with and go out, everyone, and find them at the farmer's market. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This has been Tiffiany Decou on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.